Welcome back, everybody, to the Sliding and Driving podcast. Today we have another very, very special guest. Goes by Invader C35 or Kalon. I will let him introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Kalon with the Invader Style Car Club, YouTube and whatnot. I'm a content creator and just a overall JDM enthusiast.
Hell yeah. If you haven't seen any of his content, it is all sorts of great car stuff, whether it be first of all, always extremely funny. Especially the one with your Honda Today video. That one had me cracking up so much.
The Today videos always do really well.
the in the woods one, that one really had me like laughing hard. But it was cool to see that you guys dug into the brakes and what else not in the garage, and the emergency phone call thing was funny too.
Yeah, I still have a little bit of work to do on that thing, but I might end up trading it soon, so who knows?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
little
opportunity.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
funny thing you mentioned the video I did of it in the forest, kind of introducing the car, is I didn't even plan on shooting in that location. I ended up getting kicked out because I was filming underneath a bridge.
Oh my god. That's that. I wonder how much that would have changed the actual vibe of the video.
All I had was a few time for some photos with the bridge, but it would have been a beautiful location. But somehow the Karen that lived next door just woke up and said, "You can't be there. I'm calling the cops." I'm like, okay, I'll grab my little golf cart and get out of here.
Yeah. So sorry for hurting your morning by taking pictures of my car.
For it when nobody's here but me and you come out holding your baby. It's like, wow, you're giving me an easy target right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like,
Imagine if I wasn't a good person.
yeah, yeah. That would have been a different story.
Yeah, but that's just something you deal with. It's
Yeah,
gotta be
yeah.
nice.
We what's it called? Oh crap, I can't remember the thing. We were meeting up somewhere one time. Me, my brother, and a couple of our other friends when we were still like before we started tracking our cars, and we would like do little like meet kind of thing, but just our little car group. And I forget exactly where it was, but like, oh, it was at not Ferris Acres, but there's another ice cream place in Newtown, and it's you. All three of us pulled in there. It was a Miata with a big ass wing, my MR2, and then our friends Civic Si and Chrysler 300, and we all pulled in, and like all the rich people are like so disgusted and upset, like we totally ruined them from enjoying their ice cream.
Oh, that's hilarious. You see, in the Today, I get nothing but like not praise per se, but I've never had a car like the Today where I literally get smiles per gallon. Everyone looks at me, everyone waves, truckers honk and love me, and every time I look to my left driving on the highway, I just get passed by somebody and their wife giggling and cracking up.
See, that's cool. And you know what I noticed too is that like town to town reactions will change from like the cars. Like I noticed when I was in Rhode Island pulling the motor for my MR2, I had taken my Lexus up there, and everybody over there, including the workers, were like so excited to see my Lexus, but they had like no idea what an MR2 was. But in the town I live in now, they're like every time I take it out, they're like I'm getting like honks and like compliments and thumbs up and stuff like that. But like if I go to Newtown or like something like that, I literally just hear people go, Yeah, is that a Miata? Is that a Porsche? I'm like, you're misgendering my car, and it upsets me.
Yeah, I should probably say I currently own a 1991 Honda Today Pochette for a daily, great little car, little K car, and then I also have this 1997 Nissan Laurel Club S, which is my pride and joy.
Absolutely. And you know what? So I'm glad that you said that too, because I don't know if it's the same way for you, but for me, like I don't know, I can't have a boring daily. I need to be able to really like what I drive, or else I don't enjoy driving at all. So like my daily has to be as fun or as cool as my project car for me, and like so I can just hop in whatever whenever and have fun.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I couldn't drive. I mean, there's some boring cars I do like. I love the Prius, some older Corollas I could get behind, but when it comes to my daily, I really just, I'm very picky on chassis. I'm just very particular with a chassis because, I can't drive a boring sedan chassis from the mid 2000s. I cannot do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I don't know, I feel like if I'm driving something boring and I'm not having fun, then I'm gonna fall asleep behind the wheel. Like I used to have a my first ever car was a Chrysler Town and Country minivan, and that one I would literally like I would have to pull over sometimes and like get an energy drink or like readjust my eyes because I was starting to fall asleep. Like I wasn't doing anything fun at all in those cars.
I got my license in one of those.
Really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I got my license in a Kia Sorento, where my father had to put electrical tape over the check engine light so that they
Nice.
wouldn't see it.
That's one way to work around it.
Yeah, and what's funny is like literally a week or 2 weeks after I got my license in it, the transmission shit the bed.
Oh my god, I got failed the first time I went because, like, I'm sure you remember those minivans. The third brake light on the top was busted.
Yo, oh my god.
The stupidest, the tiniest light that was like 3 inches long. Are you serious?
I used to have so this will be a little bit of fun lore. When I was like getting into cars, I had a second generation CRV, and I had done some body work to it and like a little bit of suspension work to fit like huge Jeep tires and wheels on it so I could go off-roading with it. And I thought the like factory cool like stickers from the first gen CRV that had like that 90s cool like wave font was like really cool looking. So I went
Yeah.
online and I printed out a piece of paper with that template on it. I cut it out and then I put it in my back, like that third brake light up top. So every time I braked, it would just like show the light and say CRV in my back window. And then I soon realized that like with condensation and everything, that paper just like degraded and looked totally like shit.
Damn, it worked for a little bit.
It was cool for like a day or two, but
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that-
unfortunate.
that thing with the Jeep tires on it looked like this fucking dune buggy thing.
I mean, I've been there. I put 16 inches on my K car once and turned it into a dong. And 16s aren't even that big.
Yeah, that's the funny part. That's like stock size for like the is it stock size for the Laurel?
Uh, yeah,
Because that's also stock
no,
size
17.
for my Lexus too.
17 on the Laurel.
Or maybe 17 is for the Lexus. I don't remember. I've gone through so many phases of like, that's it, I'm buying wheels for this, and then something shits the bed, and I'm like, all right, never mind, not buying wheels for this.
I just picked up some wheels from Jersey not too long ago because I don't think you've seen just because I didn't post it much, but I went to Daikoku the other night, which is an amazing New York City car group out in they're out in Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, just general city stuff. They host amazing car shows, and calling themselves Daikoku New York, I kind of give it to them because they host these beautiful parking garage nighttime meets where you'll see the mix of lowriders, skylines, and I know I'm just plugging them, but they genuinely host some of the best shows out here on the East Coast from what I've experienced. And I was going out to one of their shows, and I had a pothole and bent my rim. So that was fun. I drove like 300 miles on a spare. I got home though.
Jesus. Was that on the Laurel?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
My works are done.
Oh. And you got those not that long ago, right? Like a year ago or something? Less than that?
Yeah, really not too long ago, but I mean, all things considered, they were flaking, chrome was bad, need to be refinished. The lug centers, even though I re-drilled them out and cleaned them up, they still keep breaking on me.
Oh god.
But regardless, it's I don't know. I think I'm gonna fix them and get them refinished and try to sell them because they are like a really rare spec in that bolt pattern in that size.
Right.
So I'll probably just try to fix them up, sell them. But I did pick up some new wheels.
Nice. That'll be cool to see. I've been desperately wanting to get wheels for the Lexus, but like right now where I live, there's only street parking, and I have to pop a curb to get to my parking spot. And I know I'm just gonna totally screw up the rims or the wheels. Well, technically the rims of the wheels, because I've already curb rashed the MR2's wheels trying to park on the street. Yeah, that hurt me deep inside.
Yeah. But street parking's terrifying.
Oh my god! Like, the last place I lived, we had a driveway and street parking because we had me and my roommate had a bunch of cars. But over there, like the street parking was like against grass, so like no matter what, you weren't screwing up your car. But now it's like it's just all curbs everywhere.
Damn, I mean, I hate my driveway because my driveway's in the dead center of a three-way intersection.
Oh yeah.
So two people have stop signs. One is constant traffic, and people blow because the stop sign's right in front of my driveway. So my driveway's after the stop sign. So everyone always blows my stop sign, and that means I either get blocked in when I'm trying to leave because somebody flew by the stop sign. People just don't stop at the stop sign, or plenty of times I almost get T-boned trying to get into my driveway.
Oh yeah, I believe that. That's got to be dangerous.
And then I hate parking my car under a tree. I feel bad. But in the summer, I'm going to be... Luckily, I moved out some stuff from my very, very tiny, cramped garage. And the Laurel just barely fits in there. I have to, generally out of it. But, it can stay in there.
So, I'm actually looking at getting a storage facility / garage for the MR2 so I can do the engine swap on it. But until then, I've been doing all the work on my cars on the side of the road with no traffic cones or anything. So, I just went to go do the brakes on the Lexus the other day, and I just jacked it up on the side of the road and was just going at it. I'm like, if I get hit at this point, it's on me. I'm not. I have nowhere else to do this.
Jeez, I'm never. I was thinking for the winter getting a storage for it, but I'm never doing exhaust work on the ground again ever.
Yo, that there's when I did my roll bar, when I had to move stuff from the exhaust and parts of the engine and stuff, the car was only on just jack stands, 4 jack stands, but there was so many times I would like touch something and then I would get some piece of metal lodged in my eye.
Oh,
Like
jeez.
my wife would literally have to like basically like guide me out of from underneath the car, go inside the house, get my eye rinsed out, this and that. That was at my old place I was living at, because I also had like a tiny garage there too. But like I swear there was like I could never find where the rust or anything like that was coming from. But the second like I would touch something, just a bunch of shit would fall on me. So I ended up getting those like really goofy looking Bill Nye science goggles, and that's how I was working on the car underneath it for the rest of the time.
I mean,
But
that's the
it worked after
appropriate way
that.
to do things.
Yeah, because I have a bad habit of not worrying about my eye or ear safety when I'm doing that stuff. Um, sorry, at my old job, there was like it was like an ocean nightmare. It was at a garage, but like there was no ear protection, no eye protection. My lift constantly would fall on me with the cars I was working on.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it was like a single pillar hydraulic lift, and it was leaking out air from underneath the concrete of the floor,
Oh.
and it would just like drop half a foot randomly, drop half a foot, and yeah. So I have a bad habit of not looking out for my own safety when working on cars.
I mean, I just started using jack stands recently, for the most part. So.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing too. When I ended up having to change a tire for one of my buddies on the side of the road, and he was setting up the jack for it, like the scissor jack.
Yeah.
And when I just took over and started like spinning it so it would lift the car up. The entire car rolled forward and like folded the scissor jack under it, and that was on the side of the Merit actually.
Oh, that kind of happened to me somewhat recently. One of my today's tires blew a few months back, out in Massachusetts, and just it was the middle of the night. It was kind of rainy, so I just grabbed I was ready to throw my spare on. I picked the car up, hold it up on the scissor, and then actually leaned on it, and the whole front of the car
Oh.
just, just fell right over. I mean, nothing happened, but I'm like, oh damn. Luckily, it's such a
That's
tiny car. I was like, okay, let me just lift it up real quick.
yeah. But that happened to my brother too. But like he had already had the wheel off at the time, and
Oh, me
his
too.
Volvo all has this like really strange jack setup where you have to like lift it through a hook. It's really weird.
I heard of this because my friend just got a Volvo.
Yeah, it is. It is so strange, and he did that, and it was on the side of a really windy, like wooded area. No, like barely any shoulder, and the lift just like failed the scissor jack, and it dropped on his spindle and rotor.
Ooh.
And unlike the the lighter weight cars, he was not going to be able to lift that thing back up without some serious like maneuverage.
Dang, that's terrible.
But
Ooh.
yeah. So, I'm gonna bring it back a little bit there. So, you mentioned Daikoku before. I've never been to one of their meets, but I've seen like your videos and their advertisements for it, and it looks like somewhere I would absolutely love to go. One of these, like upcoming
Yeah,
seasons
you're
or
close
something.
enough.
Yeah.
They just did one yesterday.
Oh shit.
But
Okay. So does it happen like really frequently, or is
Oh
it
my
just
God.
like
Well, the
pop-up
last-
kind of style?
The last dang month it's been frequently. So they do a few different things. They have the big events, which are either daytime events or specific themed events, like the one I went to last time was in the dead center of Chinatown. And that was like
Oh.
a collaboration with the police and some of the local businesses there to show that not all car guys are bad, and just
That's
raising
cool.
just raising like good energy for the car community there, and especially working with local businesses and the police, everybody was on board. It was really good. But then they'll also do something like they did last night, which was word of mouth meets, where the host just kind of shoots out to a few people, hey, if you want to meet up here, and then it spreads, and then it spreads, and it ends up in my ear.
That's cool.
Then,
That's like old school.
yeah, and those are most of the meets I go to. All the parking garage meets are all the word of mouth meets, except for unless you see me at Daikoku in the daytime, or it's specifically special. It's usually all word of mouth meets, and that's where, and that kind of controls how many people go, and just the type of quality you may or may not get.
That's cool. So you bring up a good point there too, because like one of my whole messages with this podcast that I'm trying to push is like showing how like all the good that can come from cars and like all the different like factors of learning and like healthy positivity that you can bring with cars. And when I was originally looking at hosting a meet like a year ago, I was trying to find a place that would let us do it. So I decided to ask one of the cops in Newtown, and they were like, yeah, don't post anything on social media, just do word of mouth and this and that. And I was like, well, that's not going to get me anywhere, because at the time I didn't really like know many people in the scene.
Yeah.
The only thing I was really going to was like car shows and rides and ramen. And I was like, well, I don't even know where I'm going to host this thing. So I really like that there's like a collaboration with the police too, and stuff like that to actually like spread positivity about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was a big part of nightlife, we tried to work with the police, but the police wanted us to pay them to be there.
Yeah. So that's another thing. They like want like a security fee kind of thing. Like, oh, you want us to be there? We'll be there as like security, not as like collaborators with you.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and
you try to do things the right way, and they're like, okay, tax.
Exactly. we I now at my old job, my old boss was like really like close with the police. He would do stuff for them for free and things like that all the time, just to like try to give back. And one of the cop that I was talking to he was like a car guy too. He drove like a Scat Pack or whatever. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, maybe I can relate to him a little bit on a level, but it was totally not the case. I definitely tried, and he didn't want anything to do with us.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm trying to, this year I'm really trying to get into my meet thing. I just got my first sanctioned meet, but even though everyone goes there, and I understand why, they're very easy to work with, and of course they're local to me. But yeah, I'm trying to definitely do more authorized meets. That way at least they can't come and kick me out if they don't want to be here to support.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is the main thing. I genuinely don't like the police.
Yeah, there's such like a bad rep with them nowadays in like all aspects of life that it's like you don't want to really like have those negative interactions with them as much as possible.
Yeah, nothing for nothing. I used to be a big fan of my local police until they did me so dirty. And yeah, I've just had a lot of bad experiences ever since I got the Laurel with police. Up in Mass, I was coming back from a meet I was invited to, and I got pulled over for having a disco ball in my car, just a little car accessory, like, because they couldn't find me for nothing. I typically drive like a grandma. I was going 65, 70 in the middle lane. Everyone's passing me, and then this cop follows me on each side for 2 minutes on each side, left side, right side, back side, and then as soon as I'm probably like 5 miles from hitting the Connecticut line, they just pull me, and they try to say, oh, well, the disco ball is an obstruction of, so I just slide the disco ball off, and I said, all right, can I go home? It's like, it's so ridiculous. And then they start pointing at other stuff on my dashboard. I'm like, if you understood how big my hood is, I can't even, I can see my hood past all that shit anyway.
I have a similar thing with my Lexus. So like, I've never been pulled over in my MR2. On the highway, the gearing is so short that like I'm basically keeping up with traffic at the top of fifth gear without like really pushing it. But my Lexus, I feel like I may or may not have given myself a bad rep, especially coming home from work some days with going a little too fast. But like when I was coming home like recently, I wasn't even on the highway because that's really the only place I tend to like open up the Lexus a little bit. I was going, I think, like 10 over, and this cop like flies up behind me. And when I saw him pull out, I kind of was like, all right, I'm going a little over. I'll slow down. So I'm stopped at a light. He's right behind me. I'm like, I'm going to get pulled over. I know it. I turn right to go, like, get over to the entrance of 84, and he lights me up. Not even, like, a minute of me being there. He hasn't got out of the car yet. I get boxed in by 2 other police cars.
What the heck?
And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was just driving home from work. And I was like, he comes over and I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, do you want to tell me why I had to do 75 miles an hour in a 35 to catch up to you? And I was like,
I didn't tell you to do that.
Like, yeah, I was like, I was going like 45 at most. So like, that was a whole interaction. He was like, I was very broke down my steps of what I was gonna do to like kind of annoy them a little bit because, oh man, yeah, that was ridiculous. But I have a at the moment I have an exhaust leak on the Lexus right after the headers, so it sounds like an old truck with no exhaust on it. So I was like, I'm gonna wait for them to start their cars up so I can start my car up and then leave. So the other 2 that boxed me and left, which they never got out of their cars, that was kind of strange. But when the other guy behind me turned on his, I started mine, and then I just darted right onto the entrance ramp for 84 and took off.
Nice.
I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, I got pulled over in my town on like Main Street, just bringing some pizza over to my friend's house. I went to go pick up the pizza, and yeah, it's just one thing that's always crazy to me is so many people get pulled over for doing little to nothing, and then people almost run me off the road all the time, and then or I see somebody in a Nissan Murano going 150. It's like, okay, the normal cars, they don't get in trouble, so it's like, oh, maybe I should just get a Toyota Corolla and just do illegal stuff, like, because it doesn't, it just pains me. They're never there when somebody actually almost gets in an accident, but yeah, so literally a guy ran through a red light in front of me. He ran through the red light that I was stopping at, so he went around me, went through the red light, and then went through the next red light, and then the light turns green, and I go down, and then at the second light I go through it when it's yellow, and then I get pulled over for going through a red.
Oh my God, dude, what the fuck?
And then he had a problem with my import paperwork, so the car was fully registered and everything, and it was done through JDM Imports Connecticut. I paid a little bit extra just to have them do all the bells and whistles on it, so it was registered through the dealership. And he had a problem with that paperwork.
Oh my God.
So then goes a 4-month-long battle straightening out my paperwork. And
Jesus.
It really sucked because of course I can't drive this car now, and the main thing that sucked about it was because it was done through the dealer, the DMV had all my import paperwork, and that's why anytime you get an import, you always make a copy of all your stuff. Because you know,
Okay.
when the dealership went to, you know, do the registration, they took all the import paperwork, all the you know, the U.S. Customs paperwork, all that kind of stuff. So the DMV had all that. I didn't have that. All I had was, you know, my bill and my title, all that kind of stuff, and my insurance company wanted the import paperwork. So it really just months and months of me sending them any little tidbit I have, or I'm like, okay, well, you won't register my car. You have to talk to the DMV if you want that specific paperwork, because I'm giving you what I have. And
Yeah.
it eventually got to the point where I don't know if it was a new guy working for them or whatnot, but they kind of just went on the computer, typed in a few numbers, and fixed my whole problem.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
crazy.
all they had to do was, because, you know, gray market vehicles have shorter VIN numbers. It's just chassis code with numbers. And
Okay.
what had happened is JDM Imports use placeholder numbers, and I talked to them about this, and they said, yeah, they do that with every car. So what happened? They use X's at the end to make it like an 18 VIN or whatever, 18 digit VIN.
Oh.
And the police had a problem with the VIN numbers, not with the, well, yeah, basically with the placeholder numbers, since it's not the exact same as it says on the title or whatever. It's like it's the same number, and then, oh, but you have a bunch of X's on here. And it just, I don't know how, but they just went on the computer, got rid of the X's, and then boom, it worked. So
Oh my
but it just
God.
took me 4 months to finally get that interaction to work, and then I got kicked off the insurance later on anyway. Which is a whole nother fun story of me trying to register the Today, which took 6 months.
Oh my
Because
god.
what happened is it eventually got to the point where I'm giving them all the paperwork, because I have all the paperwork for this one. I'm sending them all this paperwork. They wanted me to register the car as like a non-operable, like basically as a truck or as a tractor for like a property.
Fuck.
That way it has a registration, even though I can't use it on the road, and then take that registration, bring it in, and then they'll insure the car to be road driven. And that was stupid, because I'm not going to the
Yeah.
DMV to register my road car as a tractor, and then giving you the tractor paperwork, and then re-registering the car as a road car. It's like, because they basically just want a piece of paper that has my address on it and the car on it. And after shooting all these photos, they needed to confirm that the car was on my property. And I'm like taking a photo of the car in front of the house, like it's been here for months. And it eventually got to the point where they refused to register the car. I said, "You guys registered gray market vehicles, correct?" I said, "Yes." You have a gray market vehicle on my policy, correct? Correct. And
Yeah, like
will you register this today with all of its paperwork? No, we will not register that vehicle.
no.
Yeah. So then I went to Progressive, and what Progressive did was I called them, hey, you register this? Oh, what is that? Oh, I'll look it up. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, what's the VIN number and everything? Oh, it's a gray market, so it's going to be short. I don't know if you need any paperwork or whatnot. Say, oh, no, it'll be fine. They just type in the short VIN number and call it a day. Policy within 15 minutes. Yeah, never
That's
going to Liberty
ridiculous.
Mutual. I hate Liberty Mutual.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
That's actually ridiculous. Just to register a car.
I know. So and it's funny because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure other people have had similar experiences, but I've never talked to any other JDM person who's had this type of BS happen to them. Because it's back to back. I'm like, oh, I also forgot to mention during the whole Laurel situation. First, I get the ticket for the red light I didn't do, and then I fought the ticket and won. And then the next day, I get a letter in the mail after winning the ticket. I'm like, okay, it's all over with. And then I get a letter in the mail saying that my registration was suspended
Yo.
for the car. So then I had to deal with the
God.
registration battle. And then when I finally fixed the registration battle, I get another letter in the mail that says I need driver re-education because the ticket.
What the
And then I had to pay like $100-something to do a little online re-education class. I'm like, I mean, what laws have I broken, man?
Yeah, you fought the ticket and won. Like, that should be null and void.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I had a different thing on my record from a work vehicle accident, which is silly. But,
Oh my god.
yeah, so this is a whole mess. And yeah, it's over with. I drive like a grandma. I don't get in trouble. Is what I wish I could say.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. So, one of the things I wanted to ask you specifically, as someone who definitely goes to, like, meets and these, like, awesome shows and stuff like that, what is something that you think, like, kind of is off-putting or ruins, like, behavior that ruins these events for other people?
Oh, that's so easy. I've seen this multiple times. There was this local kind of Coventry-ish pizza shop that had really great food, and they did a meet there on Wednesdays every week. And we get little deals for being a part of the car show. They did like $1 off a slice. It was just like really awesome, really good food. It was a small parking lot, but I mean, all you need is 12 nice cars to make a good weekday meet after work.
Oh yeah.
And what ruined that was in a G35 slammed on its nuts, straight piped with a pop tune, who just rev bombed for like 5 minutes outside of the neighbor's house on the road,
Bro.
like on the street. And then we were never allowed to come back because the neighbors, of course, complained. They had every right to, but it was just weeks and weeks of this meat, and it was like for months this meat would go perfectly every week, and then one guy ruined it forever. That location forever. And it's really just the people that get, I guess, too antsy, or I don't know, because it's always the people that I guess want to prove themselves, because they aren't showing off an insane car or showing off too much, but they do the most obnoxious things. There's this local guy in my town with a Honda Accord dented in hood because he stands on it, and it's just straight piped, and everywhere he goes it's like, oh, that's him. I can hear the crappy cars screaming down the road. And then he'll drive through the meet, rev bomb, maybe stop for 2 minutes and then leave, rev bombing his way out. It's just this unnecessary stuff. A little recently, Nightlife did a kind of park and chill meet over the iconic Foxhole Tower that everyone goes to out here locally. And there's a guy with a truck who just came in, rev bombed through the entire meet, parked at the entrance of the meet, and rev bombed for like 3 minutes. And he had a side exit cut out. He had a side exit that went through his rear quarter panel. This giant, like, it looked like a cooking pot sized hole, and he was just rev bombing it. And it's like, why? So now we're all just leaving.
Yeah, at that
before
point,
the cops show up. But it's like, there's not much you could do because they've already made all the noise. Like, you could scold them, but they're just gonna do it again. Like, they don't care.
Yeah, they're not being affected by it.
It's a lack of empathy, I guess, from people. It's mainly just the rev bombing people that ruin a lot of things. I don't run into too many, or people getting overly drunk, but that's a very rare occurrence in comparison. Most of the time, stuff gets shut down when one person is way too rowdy. I mean, even at Daikoku, I've definitely seen them yelling at people because there's difference between, for nice 20 seconds you're showing off what you did. There's one guy who we asked to rev. We got a little crowd, get ready for it. And it was a rotary swap 240SX, which was awesome.
Oh, okay.
So he gave it a few big revs and then killed it off, and that's fine. But then sometimes you get... recently there was a few bikes that went to Daikoku, and one of them was just... like just ramping them RPMs. And
Oh my god.
everyone was yelling at him because it's like you're good. And this was the show with the police, with the local businesses, and it's like
Oh,
you came here, and if you mess this up for them, it's ah, just very frustrating. But there's not much you can do to avoid these people. They just show up, do what they want, and leave, and they're probably not even like part of the community. In that pizza situation case, there he never attended any of the weekly meets. That was the first one he went to, and he ruined it for everybody forever.
jeez. That's that that's just like an unfortunate like situation because like that's like a weekly meet could be like such a nice outlet for a bunch of people, you know, go hang out and chill, show off your cars, hang out with everybody, but all it takes is that one guy. Like, so I found this account on Instagram that I really like so far. His name is like Scumbag Tiki, and he talks very much about like car meet and car show etiquette and like stuff like that, and like things you don't do to ruin it for everybody else. Um, and he talks about too how like he had a meet recently at a racetrack he went to, or a show, and there was like the invited builds that, like, you know, they wanted to be there. Then there was the VIP section where you had to pay to be in, and then there was the free parking.
Yeah.
And he has like a pretty bare bones Mustang GT, like the not the newest ones that came out, but the ones right before that. Um, and you know, he's got wheels, he's got a rear diffuser, it looks nice, but he was like, I don't think that my car is VIP worthy. He's like, so I park in free. He's like, every time I go to VIP parking, there's like a Forester on Steely's there, or like an Accord that's been sideswiped and all totally destroyed on wheels.
Yeah.
And like it brings it what you said about the guy with the Accord too. At my old job, there was a few people who like would bring their cars and like that. Like one guy with an Accord who had a straight piped exhaust, but it was like the diameter of the pipes would go from like 2 inch to 1.5 to 2 to like 1 to 2. Like he had this real chop shop job done on it, and the entire side of his car was totally smashed in, and he like put a band-aid over it as like his way of like thinking it was cool. And he used to drive by this ice cream place where we used to meet up and just do the same thing, would put it in neutral and just rev bomb the crap out of it. And it was like, thankfully he never came in the parking lot, so we didn't end up getting like thrown out or anything. But it's always the guy that decides to do like what you said, rev bomb with a loud exhaust, or act like an asshole to ruin it for everybody. There's actually it's not a WRX, but it's an Impreza in Newtown that is so loud when it drives on the roads, that my old roommate at her job, she's a barber, they have to, when they hear it coming, they have to stop cutting hair for a minute because it always makes the people jump out of their seats. And like rattles the windows and everything. Yeah, it is unbelievably loud. Like
Nobody thinks they're cool. That's the like I don't know who's
Yeah.
giving them that because like I'm running straight pipe right now, not by choice. When I bought this HKS muffler, I didn't. I guess I didn't really look in it. I'm like, ooh, that's a fat can. Let me get that fat can. There's nothing in it.
oh my
There's
god,
nothing inside of it. It's hollow. So I want to get a resonator for that. But yeah, it's just I don't know who they're trying to impress, especially like when they're not even attached to a meet. Like you just see them like rolling through traffic, being loud as hell.
Oh yeah. And you know what's funny? So like he I'm not gonna say who it is, but I will drop some funny stuff because it's kind of embarrassing. They used to be a customer at my old job, and they we swapped both motors in his car. In both his cars, he daily drove two Subarus. But the funny part was, he would literally like shit, hold on. It was just, my computer just flashed and totally threw off what I was saying. Oh, so he would come in and be like telling us like how much he like knows about cars and this and that. So I went on his Instagram because it was on his thing, and he would post these things being like, oh, doing another late night, like toge run and this and that, and all he's doing is like driving on a straight road, like passing a school bus. And I'm like, bro, who are you trying to impress? Like, and then he'll be like, oh, this is a video of me running from the police, and he's just like driving on a back road and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, he's trying to like blow himself up for clout and stuff like that. And it's so funny to see, but it's unfortunate because like the cops in that town won't do anything about him, and like he does get complaints from all over the place when he drives that car.
Let's say your computer messed up.
Yeah, it flashed and then it totally like dropped out everything right there. So
That should be.
Yeah, but no, that's yeah, that stuff always sucks to see because they're allowed to like do whatever they want, and then we're the ones who would end up reflecting on.
Yeah, and then the cops just point fingers at us because we have like nice cars, and that's
Yeah.
another thing. I've said this a lot recently, just because it genuinely upsets me. If I didn't go JDM and I had an old Corvette, nobody would stop me for anything.
Never.
They wouldn't stop me for anything if I had a Corvette or a Mustang.
Yo, that was something I was seriously considering, was getting like a C4 Corvette.
Oh, nightmare.
Oh my god. We used to work on them at my old job, and it was like there was this one C4 that only had like 17,000 miles on it, but it had a constant misfire that we just absolutely could not diagnose. And it was just like, we're done with it, just get it out of here. But it felt so cool to drive with like the digital dash and everything.
Oh, I bet. I always miss my Z31. That was such a good, fun driver's car, like the early '86. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Very fun driver's car.
Oh man, just thinking about that stuff makes me like, it feeds into like the addiction of like wanting to own more and more cars and stuff like that.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I wanna like my next car I would love to get would be something that's kind of like I can do a little bit of off-roading with. And I really, 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 really want to get in the Isuzu V-Cross.
Oh, dude. Of course, you'd have all the quirky cars. Like I love your taste in cars. The vehicle.
I mean, but like what's so funny is like, yes, they have like a horrible transmission and it's like kind of hard to get parts for the motor, but it's body on frame, it's rear wheel drive main, and you can lift those things to the fucking moon. Like,
yeah.
They're like, oh god, I love the way they look so much. They're just like such a versatile platform that I want one so bad.
Fair. I mean, the next car I want to get, I'm hoping in a few years I want to get my first. I want to get a proper sports car. Because I never really had a sports car other than my Turbo 300Z, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But I really miss that sports car feel. So I'm gonna try. Of course, I gotta keep it JDM. I'm going to hopefully. I mean, depending on tariff situation. I want to get a '92 Corolla Levin Supercharge, because in Japan they made 11 versions of the AE92, which we got here, and those ones had a supercharge option with a big hood scoop. Send you a little photo. But
oh yeah,
these even being
crap.
front wheel drive supercharged 4 cylinders, the 4AGZE, same motor Italia has in her MR2. It would just be so fun to actually build out this 4AG in a front wheel drive setup. and nobody knows about these at all either.
Yeah, that's something that's really cool too. Is like being able to get a car that nobody knows about, and like kind of like start showing off. Like there's so many more cool things you can get into than just mainstream cars.
Yeah, and just your JDM taxis that are like 20,
Yeah.
40 grand.
Oh my god, yeah, that's so. I don't know if you follow them or not. I haven't really like been keeping up with them, but I see reels all the time of regular car reviews.
Oh yeah, I love RCR.
Yeah, he did a video recently about the Lexus or not Lexus, Toyota Altezza, but like it's like the
RS
2000. Yeah, that one. Oh my god. I didn't even know about that like version of it until now, and like I want one so bad.
I mean, that's fair, but now I mean, just him speaking, the prices I just see them
Skyrocketed.
I see them. That's a good thing about being kind of small, is because like otherwise when you're big, it's like, oh, you find one thing, you say it, and now nobody's getting them.
Yeah, seriously. Like I'm glad I got my Lexus when I did, because they're now it's just all predictions, but they are like predicted to skyrocket in price. So I'm like, even if I'm not like gonna be working on it, or like I decide to take it off the road for a little while, I am not getting rid of that car anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm funny enough, with all the taxi skylines and stuff, I'm just surprised that I guess the Laurels are still relatively good to get, price wise, because you could pick one up for I'd say 8 or 9 right now, and you're getting RB25 turbo for 12, and that's either rear wheel drive or 4-wheel drive with the Atessa ETS, and just in comparison to other things like the Chaser, the Mark IIs, it's very low. So I'm kind of just waiting for the Laurel prices to skyrocket and see if. Although I'm getting to the point in my car with all the stuff I've been doing to it, especially recently, to a point where I don't even think I want to sell it anymore.
I feel that that's definitely valid.
Like I've had it for too long.
Yeah, seriously. Like every time I find myself, I don't know if you do this or not too, but both of my cars, when I drive them and I like kind of push them, I'm like, oh my god, I fucking love this car. I love this car.
See, I don't get it when I'm driving, because I don't really drive. Well, I do. Well, especially with the exhaust right now that's just straight piped. I'm like, okay, driving is fuck you, bastard. I'll fix you soon. But at least I had a moment like that recently with the Laurel when I put it in the garage for really its first time since I've owned it, and I fully detailed it, indoor waxed it. I got it looking as shiny as that, just reminding myself that the gloss on this car is great, the clear coat is in perfect condition, and then I was just looking at it, spending like having an intimate time with my car, just detailing it in and out in this tiny little cramped garage. I was like, yeah, I really do love this car, to the point where I'm going back into my mind talking about what am I going to name this car? Because I still haven't named it yet. I named my last 2 cool cars, and they both left me. So it's like, I named that first car, and then when I lost it, I was like, oh, I don't want to name a car again.
I've only ever named one car, and it's because it's an obvious name, but the MR2, I named the Mrs. because in Japan it's the MRS.
Yeah.
That's it. I call it the Mrs. and then I've never named a car besides that.
Dang, at least it's like your car though. I need to get that for mine. I named my 300Z because it was a lot older than me. I gave it my favorite MILF name, so now I can never use that name again. I named her Mary Ann, which is just...
Mary Ann.
I don't know. When I think of that name, it's erotic. And then I named my Vigor Lillian because she wasn't too old, but definitely a mom name. And then I
That's a
stopped
good
naming
naming
cars.
style.
Yeah, I name them after cougars and stuff. But yeah, one thing that I love about the Laurel is I don't want to name it Laurel. I don't want to name it Lorelei. I don't want to name it exactly what it is. But
Yeah,
finding
because
another
then,
name's gonna be hard. I just named mine today, actually, a few days ago as well. Because it's a
oh,
pochette. I
nice.
just figured I'd call it Poachy because that's cute.
Oh, yeah, that works.
Yeah, very cute. I'm a little late to it because I might be getting rid of it soon, but
Hey, at least it's got a name.
yeah, I'm trying to trade it with my buddy up in Mass who has a '93 Cedric, and you might have seen him around. He's part of Rad Stallions up there, but he's been trying to get rid of his Cedric for a long time. No one's buying it. I'd like it. I think it's an even trade. He needs a little bit of body work, but structurally, mechanically fine. My car is mechanically and structurally perfect. Just needs a little bit of body work as well. But with all the brand new parts I put into it and all the maintenance I've done to it, I'd say equal trade. They're both $5,000 cars.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And I have two big body sedans. It already has a lot of
Yeah.
HISO stuff in it. It has a bunch of antennas that came from Japan. It has a Katana trunk mount and a
Ooh.
deck, like one of those VIP tables in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I do a front end swap on it, but it'd definitely be another good daily, and it'd be nice to have something rear wheel drive, even if it's a VG20.
I don't know about you, but I have like ever since owning like a rear wheel drive car, I can't go back. I have way too much fun, and I just love the way that they feel over a front wheel drive. Like I don't know. I like driving the Lexus. Like I had just regular like summer tires on it, like just some cheap Kellys or whatever they were called from the previous owner. And like in the snowstorms, I have to go into work, so I would just take my time and drive that thing in, like going past all like the stuck cars and stuff, and I'm like just going along and everything. And I have like coworkers that would call out and stuff like that, and I'm like, no, I'm just here, no 4-wheel drive, no all-wheel drive, just some shitty tires and knowing how to drive in the snow. Like,
Yeah, I'll always miss the feeling I had in that Z, because the Z31, it was a staggered tire setup, fat things in the rear. It was treated like a Corvette by the previous owner because he had a C3 that was really nice. So
okay.
it had the whole stagger setup. It was the anniversary wheels. It was the '86 turbo, and just rolling that old thing out of the garage in the summer was a big highlight. Just feeling it. I mean, you couldn't slide it or anything because of the staggered setup, but when you were in a corner, it felt amazing. Like I felt like I could control the world until I hit rain. But it was definitely one of my favorite driving experience. One of my favorite experiences I've had driving a car, and still is. No car can top that. The Acura Vigor I had was, it was not supposed to be a fun feeling car. The suspension was blown out, really old, just beat to crap. It was $1,000 car, but on those wheels, I've never been able to chirp a front wheel drive car and do a burnout in a front wheel drive car until I got that one. Because that inline 5-cylinder had so much torque, it would just pull itself out from underneath you, and it felt awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's something that like I forgot about the inline 5.
Yeah, that's what's so
I-
cool.
I-
I'm like, oh, $1,000, I get this inline 5 rare thing. Yeah.
The only front wheel drive. So I've had my minivan was front wheel main but all wheel drive. My CRV was the front wheel but all wheel. But then after my CRV, I had a 2009 Hyundai Accent.
Yep.
And that car was so light that you could literally run it like it was like down a hill or like through like a little pass as if it was a race car. But that car, it was weird. It could barely do highway speeds, but like in a parking lot, I could do a front wheel drive burnout with the thing. It was an automatic transmission too. It was like I had so much fun in that car. I used to do like the e-brake like spins around corners and stuff.
Yeah, today loves that.
Yeah.
1,600 pounds.
I used to. I don't know if you ever do this with the today, but I used to go like to like the rear quarter panel of the car and just like put my hands in the fender and lift a tire off the ground.
Not per se, but I've definitely had 3 people pick it up before and move it to a different parking spot.
Yeah, that's like crazy light.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the first car meets I took it to as well. Just a group of YNs pulled up on their G35s, and before they rev bombed, they were cool. And like, oh, I bet we could pick this thing up. We give it a go, and then just this group of black people just lifted up my car. This is hilarious. They were cool people. It's just they all had the G35s, which are straight pipe.
Yeah, that car's getting such a bad name now. Like, it was like the Chargers and Hellcats and stuff like that, and now like the G35s are in the spotlight for being like trouble almost.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's some people that like kind of care about them, but when I say kind of care about them, it means they know a little bit about cars and they badge swap it to Skyline.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, does that upset me?
Yeah. There's now it's not a G35, but it's like the G37 or whatever. There's a guy in where I used to work. He's got like he's into racing. He always has like an IMSA jacket on, but he's got like a really clean tuned G37 that he dailies. And it's like he's not obnoxious about it or anything, but like you see it and you like with all the stuff done to it, you're like, oh, okay, he might be trouble, but he never is.
My friend's dad just picked up a G35, and beautiful red. He's a second owner. It's basically kind of like a grandma car, you know. Yeah, but it was just I've never seen a G35, you know, all one color, glossy paint, looks brand new, and it has a beautiful little factory wing on it. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
seeing
that's cool.
a stock G35 actually looks really good, and then I'm like, oh my God, you can make this car look so good if you just had some wheels. And then but it's like you never see a stock one, and I forgot they can look good.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So I had a similar like conniption like that when I moved into the place I'm at now. There was something I never ever saw before in my life. It was I don't remember the year. I want to say like right around 2010 or a little earlier than that. But it was a 2-door Nissan Altima with the V6 in it.
Yeah. And
it was on some like OEM Plus style wheels.
Ooh.
And I was looking at it, I was like, that thing's nice looking. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, I don't think I've ever said that about an Altima before.
I mean, there's one guy around who has like, I'm for blanking on it, but he has like some really special Altima or something. I think it's like Stillen or something. It has like a whole like factory upgraded brakes or something. Like some company like modified it from factory and sold it. It's like one out of
that's cool
2,000 or something. It's pretty cool. He has like a whole placard for it. It's great. You got an Ultima with a factory big brake kit.
Yeah.
But I've been trying less this year too, because I used to. I guess I was also obnoxious at meets. I used to just go around bully cars, which was funny. But this year I'm definitely completely changing up my content with actual ideas and stuff. So
okay.
I know I'm in the process of working on like my first like not like working on my first show, but getting my first series out.
Nice. Okay, that'll be really cool to see.
Yeah, we'll have special guests and stuff. Gonna film the pilot later this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll be really cool to see.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that, because your podcast is about function over form. I'm form over function.
Yeah, so that's another thing too, like, and something I kind of want to explore on this podcast. So I'm definitely like with the MR2 more like focused on like track events with it, like time attack specifically. I don't really like autocross. Um, but like with the current situation of tracks closing and stuff like that, I feel like there's such a like disconnect on how people can get into that style of stuff. But at the same time, like I also like enjoy going to meets and car shows and like seeing like what local stuff is, or like what people build that isn't documented anywhere. Um and that's kind of what I want to do with the Lexus, is kind of turn that into like my meet slash show car, because eventually the MR2 is not going to be street legal. I
Yeah.
hate to say it, um but yeah, sorry, I go ahead and continue.
Yeah, well, that was also another thing I wanted to get into this year, was because this year I'm going to be very picky on my meets. I got back into the car community last year with my Acura. Well, I guess 2 years ago now. And so now I know what events to go to, what events to avoid. I'm going to be very picky with the shows I go to. But hopefully I want to... I love the community we have. I love all the people I've met. You guys are awesome. But this year, I really want to meet some new people that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Because that's always fun, seeing somebody either just getting into it, or just some person who's had a car who was, oh, I used to go to shows like 5 years ago. It's like, oh, I've never seen you before. Hello.
Yeah, no, seriously, I feel the same way. Like recently I just got like um a little like portable mic for the phone, and I'm gonna be getting another one to try to like go to like some of the meets and see if I can like talk to people more and kind of like branch out and see, because like before, like when it was just me and like my brother and our friends, that was like the extent of it. We would go places and like not talk to anybody and kind of be like the awkward people just sitting by our cars, which is kind of like, I don't know, that's also kind of hard to break out of when you go to a meet and try to like talk to people, because like everyone, like starting off it was really intimidating for me. But then like when we would start going to like rides and ramen and stuff, and we met you guys and like the Invader crew, it was like cool to see other people you can meet and talk to.
Yeah,
And, like,
it's different when people are friendly. I don't like people
Yeah.
my age into cars. I can't talk to these kids with their Volkswagens. I can't talk to these Civic kids. Because you'll talk to them, you might exchange a few words, and then they'll bugger off. It's they're not friendly to talk to, and frankly,
Yeah,
they
seriously.
kind of don't have. I mean, no offense to people my age. There's a lot of people my age who are very knowledgeable about cars, but a lot of them don't know much outside of the specific sphere they're in with their car, to where they can't hold a conversation about anything else.
right.
And they're just also hard to approach because they're always just like smoking pot.
Yeah. Like like when we would go to rides and ramen, there's a guy there. I think his handle is Donut Miata.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Him and yeah, he is super knowledgeable, and he's like, he comes over to me and my brother and is like talking to us like, oh, what's new? What you do in your car? This that. He's like super friendly, and like that's the kind of vibe I really like to see. Like enthusiastic, wants to talk to you, wants to see what you did on your car and stuff like that. um and like I gotta say, like I really think that what Casey is doing with Rides and Ramen is really, really awesome. It's like one of the meets that I would like regular, because of how like nice everybody is and how like cool it is there and
Small
like
good
chill.
meets are great like that because you're able to talk to everyone as well. without getting overwhelmed, or there's just like a sea of 40 or 50 cars. You have to pick out a few good ones, and then you won't be able to find the owner either to talk about it.
Exactly. Like, if you find something cool, like, how do you get in touch with that person without, like, leaving stuff on their car?
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel weird about that, too.
Yeah, I mean, I see Casey just throwing stuff in there. I'm like, oh, I could do that, but so like, how do I respectfully? And that's why it's like, oh, great, an Instagram handle. Otherwise, well, what am I gonna do? Text them on Instagram? Hey, I'm by your car right now. Where you at?
Yeah.
Small stuff is great.
That's absolutely like, when I first went to his original first meet, it was like, I was kind of like, oh, maybe, like, I don't know if this is going to keep going or not. And to see how far it's come is, like, so cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I got in there too early. I definitely been to I think I went to, like, almost all of them last season, or at least more than half. But, yeah, I want to. God, I don't know how we got such a good spot. I need to find me a good spot like that. How?
Yeah, right. Like that place is perfect.
Perfect parking lot. Perfect food. And just
yeah.
It's a bit far for me, but it's like, oh, why can't I find a nice business owner to work with?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Finding someone that's actually like, oh, ew, you're into cars now.
Because
like,
kind of like how he decorates,
like
I kind of want to do that too. With my theming and my Invader stuff, I wanna get like little alien blow ups and put them around the meat.
That would be cool. So, let's see. We're we're at an hour and 12 right now. So, and I haven't asked you the one question that I plan on asking everybody.
Oh.
So what was the, I guess, in a nerdy way to say it, but what was the canon event, or like the car you saw, the thing you saw that got you into cars, or like your style of cars, or kind of awakened that noticing cars?
There's a lot of things like that in my life, which I always think is really funny how I got into cars, because I didn't consider myself a car guy until I graduated high school. And with that, cars have been around my entire life. I mean, nobody had any cool things around me. My mom had a 92 Integra, which I hated at the time, but now I look back fondly as I really liked the way that car looked. And, but, when I was growing up, I had hundreds of Hot Wheels. I was the Hot Wheels kid. Just photos of me as a baby in this pile of Hot Wheels. And then growing up, I'd play games like Need for Speed with my stepdad. We had all the Need for Speed games on the PS2. PS2 is the best.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd play those constantly, and that's one thing, I guess, early gaming, I never had internet, so I could never play online games like Modern Warfare, so I wouldn't even bother. So I'd mainly just play racing games, and even up to the 360, I'd mainly play racing games. Racing games are something I could put in and have fun for a few hours, messing around, and, again, I never considered myself a car guy. High school comes around, I got a PS4, and I start playing racing games with my friend, because I like Need for Speed. You like Need for Speed? So then we start doing little YouTube videos of just driving. I still didn't consider myself a car guy. I build these cars online, and one car that I was always infatuated with as a kid, just because I thought it was really pretty, was the General Lee. And very different taste than what I am now, but I love the General Lee. I still love that orange, beautiful car, beautiful chassis. But again, didn't consider myself a car guy. I ended up getting my first car, Saturn SC2, 2002 coupe. Same year as me. It was a beautiful little coupe that I blew up. And then I ended up with a Chevy Malibu, and then I started digging into car culture a little bit. I was like, I started watching Initial D at this time, because I was big into anime. I was like, let me get back into anime. Because during like 2016, 2017, anime was like cringe or whatever, so I stopped watching anime.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, okay, now anime is just normal. So I started watching anime again, and ran into Initial D. I'm like, oh, the scenes in this look really cool, and the music's awesome. So got into the Initial D rabbit hole, binged it, loved it. that show, with the way they talked about driving and how driving feels and all the intricacies of driving and different cars and handling and whatnot, the way that show opened my eyes to a lot of stuff from that, even though some things more accurate than others, that show opened up a world for me. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. I want to drive. And I only had a piece of junk Malibu at the time. So, then I do my little thing in my little Malibu, drive it fast. Basically, what all first car owners do, even though it was my second. I just drive it obnoxiously and have fun with it. I never modified it at all. I did shag it out with fur, but that was just more of an aesthetic. But, yeah, and then I ended up saving up. I bought my 300Z, and, 300Z had a lot of problems, and I kind of dove headfirst into trying to work on my car from there. I picked up a lot more than I could chew. I did get it fixed, and there were a lot of times where I spent 16 hours working on it, doing a simple job, fixing it with backhanded solutions, and then getting it running was a great feeling. And at that point, I started calling myself a car guy when I was working on this car, getting it running, going to a show, and then breaking down on the way home, bringing it home, fixing it, just to do the same thing. And then I started calling myself a car guy. And I guess it's really Initial D that got me into, basic Japanese cars, 240, 86, and, all those types of all those types of famous cars. And then later on down the line, just getting more attached into the car scene, I started seeing these, Bozuzoku, which is a completely wrong term, cars showing up. And then I delve deeper because these are some really freaky cars that look crazy. And digging into it, I learned about Kaido culture and all the different ins and outs of Kaido cultures, all the different subcultures. And just digging into those, I was like, oh my god, I really want one of these. And I still haven't got a chassis to build one. So right now my JDM, but at that point it's like, okay, I need JDM. I need to be JDM. And then I eventually took the right-hand drive pill and actually got some imports. And so one thing I'm very excited about is my Laurel, which I'm going to be very excited to show off soon. It's been down for a little bit because I busted my wheel. And it's kind of an homage to Kaido Racer, specifically Heiso culture and early 2000s, I guess, hip-hop culture. Because it's got all the Heiso antennas, the radio antennas. It has a Cadillac boomerang antenna, which I love the boomerang antennas, by the way. Even if it's not plugged up into anything or it's not actually doing its job, having it is really cool because, American guys recognize that. They haven't seen that forever, so they'll talk to me about it. And one thing is, in Japan, they make big fake boomerang antennas to imitate Cadillac, because that was a sign of luxury in America to have a TV in your old Cadillac or Lincoln. So I think it's really cool both ways. But I got these accessories. I got the Japanese CB radio and all the interior is completely Heiso'd out with typical Heiso drip. And then on top of that, being this right-hand drive JDM car no one's seen, I decided to spend a lot of money last week. I drove probably about 8 hours in total. I picked up some big 20-inch chrome wheels so I could fulfill my hip-hop culture. And then,
nice.
And this is the best part, I picked up some 19-inch spinners, which is going to be sweet. And then yesterday, and as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to finish up by finishing up the install on my big 12-inch subwoofers, glass enclosure, chrome-plated subwoofers.
Oh my god, that is sick.
Yeah, so this thing's going to be really sweet. I'm about to put that new TV in it. So just being able to, I don't know, it feels really good now that even though I still need coils, even though the engine is stock, I feel nice knowing I could call this modified. Because even if it's just absolutely. For show, just having a right hand, because typically even when you see spinners nowadays, which you don't, it's on like a Honda Accord or something. Seeing it on this Japanese car is gonna be really cool, and then with all the HISO stuff, it's gonna really be. I feel like it's gonna shake up some of the scene because it's gonna be the most unique thing at any meet.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I'm so excited to show that off.
That is going to be really cool to see, like especially in person. Like I'm picturing it now, but I know it's not going to do it enough justice as what it's actually going to look like.
100%.
That's really cool to see, especially like especially the spinners. Oh my god, I cannot tell you the last time I actually saw spinners. Like
This was my first time.
I'm gonna say like in person at least 10 years ago.
Wow. See, I've never seen them in
maybe
person.
more. Yeah, because oh god, I think it was like on the highway I saw spinners one time. But yeah, no, that'll be really cool to see, because then like you're gonna be the person to bring them to meets, and people are gonna see them and might get a little resurgence.
Yeah, definitely excited for the conversations, and just waiting to run into one nerd who knows a bit more about Kaido. Cause,
Yeah, that'll be cool too.
It's very niche. Of course, it all starts with everyone asking me about the antennas, and now it's going to move to the wheels. Everyone's going to forget about the antennas.
The antennas were like the gateway drug, and then now it's going to be the wheels.
Yeah, the only thing is I can't get a chrome grille because the Medalist, which is the luxury version of my car, has a slightly different hood, so I can't just grab the chrome grille from that.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to get a bumper and a hood from the other chassis.
I gotcha.
Someday I might.
I was thinking about. Yeah, that would be cool, because I was thinking about doing something like that too, because my version of the LS400 doesn't really have body kits. It's the third generation, or the facelift. The one where it's like the headlights totally changed and everything like that. All of those ones have the body kit. So I was thinking about maybe like doing a front end body swap on it to be able to get like the cool front end kits and stuff like that, but I'm not 100% sure yet, because I want that car to be like a show car, but the engine has a lot of potential to really go fast. So I also kind of want it to be functional too, especially like, driving and things like that. But yeah, I definitely think that would be cool to like do the hood and grill swap.
I mean, yeah, one of my buddies out in British Columbia we have the same exact car, but his is a Medalist and mine is a Club S. And we might trade, because he wants to do the swap as well for the Club S. But he's my go-to guy for everything. He works for Nissan, so he pulls out all the schematics of our cars. And our cars are actually made within the same month of each other.
Oh, that's cool.
From the same factory, which is really cool. So it's he's my go-to guy for everything. So in the future we might do it. If not, no worries. I like my front end. I might, but I definitely do want to get some more shiny bits on it. There's this unicorn part for my car, which I've never even seen physically on the car. I've only seen it in catalogs. That's the type of unicorn we're talking about.
Oh shit!
There is original Nissan chrome fender trim out there for my car.
Ooh, okay.
Which I've always wanted chrome fender trim. I have no idea how to make it, or else I'd try to make it. But there is a OEM chrome fender trim out there for my car, waiting for me to find it on auction.
That would be really cool to find too. Like I think catalog parts are like, they're like really underrated right now, because like I had no idea about this too. Apparently with my MR2, they had speakers that would attach to the little like cabinets behind the seats that you could get from Toyota, but only in Japan. I was like, I had no idea that was even a thing.
And it's too late to find them.
Yeah, they're like totally gone. I found them someone on my Instagram who has an MR2 was doing the same thing, and I was like they had them, and that's how I learned about them.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's when I realized the visualizer in my car radio in the Laurel was actually a option.
Oh
Like
shit,
they don't all come with a visualizer. It's
that's cool.
yeah, I thought it was just aftermarket. No, it was a factory option, which is really cool.
Yeah, there's like so many cool little like things like that. So like, I don't know, my Lexus is bare bones because it was like the lowest trim model. But like seeing the things it could have came with from factory, I'm like, like I wish I kind of got one that was top tier like that, because like they had automatic, they had ride height adjustment, they had suspension like tuning and dampening, um, all from like buttons right by the shifter. You know, it has the classic like economy or power for driving, like transmission shifting. But I mean, like there was even a coach version of the Lexus, like the luxury brand. It was a collaboration.
Wow.
Yeah, like in oh my god, the one I there's one trim that's gorgeous. I don't know, it's kind of like an older thing that I really like, but the entire interior of the car is like a burgundy color.
Ooh. Of
Yeah,
the
that one's really hard to find.
Yeah, I bet. I always love like I guess colorful interiors. Like I've always fallen in love with like in the MR2s and in the 300Zs the light baby sky blue interiors.
Yeah,
I wish
I absolutely agree.
I used to have burgundy, so I was like even that was cool, but everyone sees burgundy and red, the blue. Like that one guy. I don't know if you know that one guy, kind of local for us. He has the baby blue Z31. Oh,
Yes, yeah.
oh my god, his is gold. I remember he cammed it recently. It sounds amazing.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Well, all right. So we're approaching on an hour and a half here, and I'm honestly thinking about doing another like part 2 episode kind of thing in the future, because I have a feeling that we are gonna have no end of things to talk about, especially with this upcoming season.
Oh,
But
100%.
yeah. So I'm gonna let you kind of, in like Hot One style, let you kind of plug anything you want to, or you know, anything you want to tell people that are gonna see this. And
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, I know all y'all ain't local, but check out your boy on YouTube. We have YouTube, Instagram, Reddit. We have everything. Invader_style on all social medias. We make a lot of fun content, and I have a lot of fun car content coming for you guys. We're talking stuff from skits to car show reviews to car casts similar to this one. We have a lot of fun and mainly funny content coming for you guys coming up. So please check out our social medias. I have a car account, Invader_C35 on Instagram. If you just want to follow the build, you don't care about my content. So just give those a follows. Please shoot me a subscribe. I'd love to have anyone check out my content.
yeah, absolutely. And I know we're gonna be getting 2 other members of the Invader group on here too, and doing a full MR2 themed podcast. So
That's exciting.
that's gonna be cool to see.
I'm definitely
That's
going to
gonna be
invite
really
you,
cool.
but later this season, I do want to host a private MR2 photo shoot with a bunch of MR2s.
That would be cool.
Just so you could be there.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see, because like they're so like rare now. I don't know. Maybe it's just where we are, but I barely ever see them anymore.
I don't see them on the road, but I see that we have a lot of them in Connecticut.
Yeah, they're like at meets or like track days. Like I've only ever seen another spider at a track day, but yeah, they're definitely there. It's just like you said, you don't see them on the road.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, with that, guys, go ahead and give a check out Invader. Invader Style. There's a lot of good content there. Very well rounded. Definitely won't regret it. But yeah, go ahead and do all the normal stuff, like, comment, whatever. Bad at plugging my own things, but we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Peace.